Hello, I am Krishna Chaitanya Reddy. Welcome to Creative Aptitude. The only thing which I want to explain is aptitude is not mathematics. Try to understand aptitude is different and mathematics is different. Aptitude is natural ability. When you go Google, you'll get to know aptitude is equal to natural ability. Try to understand why do companies conduct this test. Why are organizations interested in this test, whether it is public sector or private sector? Why people make sure that you clear the aptitude test, then only attend the interviews? It's very simple. They are testing your natural ability. What is your ability to solve problems? How are you able to solve the problems of your clients? How your ability is working? Naturally, how talented you are. It's not a test conducted to know your mathematical skills. No, not at all. If that was the case, they would have considered your 10th class mathematics score or intermediate mathematics score. But they are not doing that. They are conducting a half an hour or 1 hour test and then deciding whether you have an ability to work for their company or not. So whether it is an entrance examination or public sector or private sector, whatever examination, it could be banking, railways, it could be UPSC, it could be any state level public sector jobs, or it could be anything. They want you to clear this test. CAT, GRE, GATE, everything there is a test called aptitude test. So try to understand the importance of it. What exactly happens is examiners will take help of mathematics syllabus and try to test your natural ability. Because there is time and work, because there is percentages, because there is profit and loss, people assume it to be mathematics, which is not. People think that it is mathematics which we have learnt in 8th, 9th classes. So if we revise the syllabus of mathematics in school, we'll get to clear this examination. You will 100% clear that examination if you revise your mathematics syllabus, but if a half an hour test is conducted for 3 hours, you will clear it. They expect you to be instinct. They expect you to be spontaneous. You have to solve a question within seconds there. So that is where this natural ability comes into play. So from now, I really want you to understand this subject as natural ability. For example, let us get to the syllabus of this aptitude. Aptitude, we have a syllabus of percentages, profit and loss, simple interest, compound interest, averages, alligations and mixtures, ratios, proportions, time and work, time and distance, permutations, combinations, probability. When we get into logical aptitude, the aptitude is actually divided into 3 parts: quantitative aptitude, logical aptitude and analytical aptitude. For logical part, people call it as reasoning, but it's okay, whatever it is. So it is quantitative aptitude, logical aptitude and analytical aptitude. So when you take the quantitative aptitude part, whatever I said as a syllabus, that comes as a syllabus. And in logical and analytical part, you have blood relations, directions, sitting arrangement, logical puzzles. You have questions on coding, decoding, odd one out, number series, letter series. You have questions on data sufficiency and syllogism. So you have different topics there where there are no numbers involved. Whenever there are numbers involved, we call it as quantitative aptitude. So quant is something related to numbers, so we generally call it as quantitative aptitude. But what I really want to tell you now is, whatever syllabus you consider, right from percentages to blood relations, anything, that's seriously part of our life. Whatever we do, whatever question is asked in aptitude test, no matter what examination it is, it could be your entrance examination or public sector or private sector examination, whatever you write, whatever they ask, the syllabus is seriously part of our life. Consider percentages. Percentages is generally a part of our life. We don't use percentages only in examination. We use it in shopping malls. We go to a shopping mall, we buy something and we ask for a discount. Or they themselves mention a board, flat 50% off, flat 40% off. So this percentages is there in our life. We measure literacy rate in percentage. We measure GST in percentage. We measure our attendance in percentage. And after all, we also measure our marks in percentage. People generally come to us and ask us, how much did we score? And we tell them that we scored 70%, 80%, and people get to understand that. So percentages is seriously part of our life. When it comes to, say, profit and loss, we estimate profit and loss before starting any business. We analyze profit and loss. Every time we do something, we think about what's our profit in that, whether we get a loss in that, is it benefit to us or not, is it beneficial to us or not. So we every time focus on these things, whatever it might be a small scale business to a big scale business, it can be anything. We measure profit and loss. So then comes to an average. Average is something we use it so very frequently. Suppose say we go to a movie, we come back, and when suppose our friend asks us, how is the movie? We reply saying it as an average movie, above average. We don't do sum of observations by number of observations. We generally analyze the movie saying that there are some good scenes, some bad scenes, some normal scenes. So the climax is extraordinary. Overall consideration, we say it's an average film. We don't calculate, but our instincts, our natural ability works there. So we come out with a response saying that it's an average film. Come to a time and work concept. Whatever we are doing right now, right here is time and work. We are spending some time, we are doing some work, it's a time and work. What we do every day is time and distance. We travel certain distance, we travel for certain time. So that's the time and distance. So when somebody calls us and tells us that we are here, we are coming to your home, we tell them that it's about 100 kilometers, you'll take another 2 hours to come. So we generally communicate in time and distance. Permutations and combinations probability, one of the very, very important topics. Permutations, combinations probability. Whatever we are today is because of yesterday's permutations and combinations. Whatever we are doing, it could be a bigger things in life or smaller things. It could be, like whatever course you are pursuing today, whatever college you are studying today, it's a result of many permutations and combinations in the past. You might have considered a lot of colleges, a lot of courses, you might have gone through counseling and then ended up in that particular college. That's a permutation and combination. Whatever color dress you are wearing today, it's again a permutation and combination. It didn't happen spontaneously, like you went to a shop, you selected a dress, you picked up a shirt and came home, wore it, and now you are with some black color or white color dress. No, you might have selected a lot of dresses and then ended up with one particular dress. So that's a permutation and combination. And probability is so very interesting again. Probability is chance of happening, chance of not happening, chance of occurring, chance of not occurring. So out of total results, the result we desire or we want is a probability. So tomorrow is a probability. We don't know what happens tomorrow. The uncertainty is a probability. We toss up a coin and we do not know whether it is heads or tails. It's a probability. We do not know what's going to happen with our life tomorrow. That's a probability. Because it might be anything. Out of 10 results, it might result in one result. So that's a probability. We watch cricket matches so interestingly because we don't know the result of the match. Because we don't know, India may win, India may lose, there may be tie, there may be draw. We do not know what would happen. That's a probability. So we play cards, that's a probability. So every time we go through our life, there is a lot of probability. There is a lot of uncertainty with life. That's a probability. Clocks. Without clocks. So now if I am making a video on, the aptitude, I have to consider how much long it goes. What is the time? So without time, we cannot even imagine our life without time. We see clock every now and then. So clocks rotate and become calendars. Without calendars, there can't be ages. All three are part of aptitude. Clocks, calendars, ages. The blood relations. Without blood relations, we do not know who becomes who to who. It's a part of our life. Whatever is there in our life, that's also there in aptitude. So whatever is part of our life, that's part of aptitude. For that, you need not learn anything new. It's just about considering the problem, taking it as our real life problem and reacting to it. So that's how we get to solve questions on aptitude. But to do that, we have to be very, very quick in our calculations. We have to be very, very instinct with our calculations. So that's the reason we have to spend certain time in learning some speed calculations which are useful to solve problems. We don't learn any formulae, any a plus b whole square, a minus b whole square. That's not necessary for solving aptitude questions. That's part of mathematics. Mathematics is a science where we prove our answer. If it is an 8 marks questions, we have to do it for 8 lines. Then we get an answer. We get an answer in first line. Our teacher will not reward us with 8 out of 8. So that's impossible. Try to understand what happens is, what exactly happens here is, mathematics is something where every line will give us marks. Every line has marks. If you do that 8 marks question in 4 lines, your teacher will give you only 4 marks. If you do it in 8 lines, then only you will be given 8 marks. If you directly write an answer, your teacher will reward you with half a mark or 1 mark. So try to understand mathematics is science where every line will have a mark. But aptitude is an art. It's an art of giving answers very quickly. So what happens exactly here is, they'll give you 30 minutes and ask you to solve 50 questions where you have to be very quick. To become that quick, we'll learn certain calculations like squares, cubes, the tables, and some multiplications. So we'll become very quick with these calculations. There are a lot of techniques to become quick with these calculations because every formula has square or cube in it. If you take simple interest and compound interest formula, or compound interest formula, it is p into 1 plus r by 100 whole power n minus p. Whole power n will be number of years, that can be 2 years or 3 years, it's squares or cubes. So there is a multiplication in that. So multiplication, squares, cubes are compulsory. If you know tables till 20, that will help you a lot. I will not teach you, I will not ask you to by heart them. But there are certain things which you have to focus. So we'll become quick in our calculations. So this course has certain part where we have to become very quick with our calculations, and the certain part where we have to be in a position to understand that this is not mathematics, this is some spontaneity to do questions. So what we'll do in this particular course is we'll start with some speed calculations, some easy calculations like squares, cubes and everything. Then we'll get into percentages, followed by profit and loss, then simple interest and compound interest, then averages, then allegations and mixtures, then ratios, then ages, then time and work, then time and distance, some partnerships questions, then permutations and combinations, followed by probability, then some data interpretation, then some part of mensuration, the elementary mensuration like squares, cubes, triangles, rectangles, how to do them. So this is what we do it in quantitative aptitude. Then followed by blood relations, sitting arrangement, syllogism, clocks, calendars, logical puzzles, the direction sense, the odd one out. So these all things we'll do it in logical part, and then we'll complete this course, where this complete course will be useful to write any examination. You'll get a proper understanding about how to deal with aptitude. It could be a basic level examination, the moderate or advanced level examination. It could be ICET, CAT, GRE, GATE. It could be any of your public sector examinations like banking, railways. It could be UPSC, or it could be any entrance examination where there is aptitude in it. It could be insurance examinations. So there are a lot of notifications which comes every year. There are a lot of entrance examinations, lot of public, private sector jobs. If you are in the college studying in some third year or fourth year, the campus recruitment happens. It will be useful for every campus recruitment test. So just focus on all the things. I'll discuss everything in detail, completely, totally. So we'll make a video after video where you'll get to understand a lot of different models of question. What is the thought process of the examiner? What is he expecting from you? How to deal with the problem? How to come out with a solution spontaneously? This is all we'll do. I'll just give you a couple of examples how this aptitude becomes different from mathematics. I'll make another video for how aptitude is different from mathematics. Thank you so much. I'm Krishna Chaitanya. I'll come up with a couple of examples where aptitude is totally different from mathematics. Thank you so much.